Welcome to the CEO Insider, powered by YTexas. Welcome to the CEO Insider podcast. It's brought to you by YTexas. Our next guest is Robbie Briggs, the CEO of Briggs, Freeman, Sotheby's Realty. So I'm going to go out on a limb.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to guess you know a little bit about real estate.
Oh, I know a little bit about it, Sandy. I've been doing it since 1978, so that gives me a little credibility.
That's one thing here in Texas that we have a lot of.
And we do have a lot of real estate, absolutely. What kind do you want to talk about?
Right now I'm in the housing market.
Okay, there you go.
To tell you the truth.
Well, I was just we just had Britt Fair of Fair Title Company talk to us a little bit about, are we in a bubble?
Okay.
And we're not.
We're not.
We're not. We may be going back to some regular, normal sales activity, but we're not in a bubble. It is not going to crash. A recession is just a slowing down. And so if you're coming off the highway going 80 miles an hour, you got to slow down to what's regular, 45 miles an hour. And it feels funny, but it's what it is. And that's where we are right now. You know, basically you want a good, healthy inventory in an incredibly fast market. Sellers love it when you only have 2 months inventory.
Mm-hmm.
A buyer loves it when you have 10 months inventory. Well, normal is about 6 months inventory. And the other part that seems out of whack for buyers and sellers are interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go up probably 4 more times in the next year. But where are they going to go? Maybe 6.5, something like that. In a 100-year perspective, that's really low.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, it's just adjusting to what is normal. And we still have, in DFW, we have 4 of the fastest growing cities in the United States. So you've got Frisco, Plano, South Lake, Colleyville area. Fort Worth is exploding. So, I mean, Tarrant County. So we're still in a very, very good position. And yes, Amazon just announced today that they're going to Virginia and to New York.
Mm-hmm.
But that's almost good news for us. We have 5 or 6 other companies that have been waiting to hear, is Amazon coming or not? Because
Right.
if they were coming, they weren't, because there'd just be such a drain on the labor pool. So you just watch. In the next short amount of time, there are going to be some announcements of some big companies moving to the Metroplex, which we'll be able to absorb almost easier. Some of the developments that we were looking for, if Amazon came, they'll still happen. They just won't happen overnight.
Right.
There's some great places that Amazon could have chosen: downtown Dallas, Midtown, places in Tarrant County. They'll still develop. They just won't happen overnight.
Did you feel that some of the Amazon requests were a little bit much?
I don't know exactly all of them, but probably they would have been. Probably they would have been, because they were in the driver's seat.
Right.
And they were playing it really well. So they were negotiating hard with every city across the country. It makes sense what they finally chose.
Mm-hmm.
They want the political clout that they're going to get out of being in Virginia.
Sure.
I'm not 100% sure I understand the New York piece as well. Certainly, that's still the center of the universe in many respects, but livability and whatnot, I thought Dallas had a lot going for it, for them. So I'm somewhat disappointed, but at the same time, like I said, I'm very encouraged.
Yeah, you don't think about the other people that were waiting for Amazon to make their decision, for them to make their move.
Right.
And you mentioned Tarrant County.
Yes.
And the growth there. On your side of it, what do you see as the top couple of reasons for the growth?
Well, one, you talked about a lot of land in the beginning.
Right.
Fort Worth itself as a city has more land available than any of these other cities that are growing fast. So there's more developable product.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have not had the relocation that they might have sometime, but with things like the Walsh Ranch coming on and them that whole concept with the Walsh Ranch, for instance, is so geared for a perfect setting for a headquarters. I think that'll be imminent as well. And the city of Fort Worth is going hard after relocation, so I think they'll win some in the next year.
And
so.
Fort Worth is, as a city, as a population, has kind of garnered the reputation as a really nice place to do business.
A very nice place to do business and a very nice place to live. It's more affordable than the rest of the Metroplex. And it's a little slower pace, and yet it's still a vibrant city. And what they do there, they do really, really well. So, I mean, things like Sundance Square and
right.
all the places that you can go and be are just really the best of the Metroplex.
Isn't it nice to see Fort Worth getting the sunshine on them, and of all these years of Dallas being what Dallas is, and, and Fort Worth is doing what it does.
They're doing really well. I think the projection in like 2030 is that Tarrant County and Collin County will be bigger than Dallas County. Wow. And so Collin County will be the biggest, but Tarrant County will be next.
Given your title, Robbie, you have been a part of some big transactions.
Yes.
Have you had any that you didn't think you were going to get and kind of a surprise? Oh my gosh, it worked out. And if you could, you don't have to name names or prices, but a story of one that maybe surprised you.
Well, the one that stands out, about a year and a half ago, we sold the Waggoner Ranch. That's the largest ranch in the United States under one fence. We were asking $725 million, and people say, how did you come up with that price? Well, it was 510,000 acres,
right?
1,200 oil wells, a horse whole business, and at the same time, if someone can figure out desalination, it has water under it that could totally supply Wichita Falls. So I mean, it had a lot going for it, and it had been in litigation for 10 years, the two families, so it hadn't had any infrastructure improvements. So when Stan Kroenke came along and bought it, it was kind of like this. We're sitting at the Circle T Ranch right now at this interview, which was the Hunt property that Perot bought back in, I think, the 80s. I think it was in the 80s. And he's done amazing things with this Circle T Ranch, as well as all that he's done with Alliance Airport, etc. No, Vernon, Texas doesn't have that potential, but it has potential to improve that property, frack the wells that haven't been touched in years. Who knows the upside to it? So even though it was a huge number, it was still a good investment.
With that kind of number, it's like, well, my pool of buyers is pretty small here.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Well, and that's why we were chosen, because of the Sotheby's network internationally. Right. We were able to market it worldwide, and we had buyers that were looking at it from the Middle East to China to everywhere. But we were all very excited that it was an American that bought it.
Yes.
Kept it in its kind of cowboy state, which we were really excited about.
Right. Well, Robbie, thank you very much for spending some time with us. It's a pleasure, and you're one of those people I feel like I could sit down and have coffee with and visit with.
Well, let's do it.
I'd love to.
Okay, Sandy.
I would love to.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.